To harass Philip Cesar. Snapshot by Alan CAIDIC from the corner.
Yes, sir. Offense really
Hello
good.
everyone and welcome back to my channel. Episode 34 is all about Michael versus Michael. It's the 1987 PBA first conference game between Great Taste Coffee and Ginebra San Miguel. So it's Michael Young versus Michael Hackett. So let's all watch this.
CAIDIC, 3 points.
Okay, you're back with us just in time for the initial tip-off. Michael Hackett jumping against Michael Young, two Michaels. And here we have the Great Taste Coffee makers in the dark-colored uniforms scoring the first basket on a finger roll by Arnie Twadlis.
Players for the Great Taste Coffee makers, Arnie Twadlis, Philip Cesar, CAIDIC, Ricardo Brown, and Michael Young. For the Ginebra San Miguel squad, Chito Loizaga, Joey Loizaga, Terry Saldana. We have Harmon Cordinera and, of course, Michael Hackett.
And the hardcourt cops are Dr. Shane Cruz, Mr. Hinalo Ledesma, and Mr. Robert Gamad. 2-0 is still a count. Ball game is half a minute old. A blown opportunity here by Great Taste, but they keep it alive. Alan CAIDIC is right there in the thick of the fray. Michael Hackett pulling down the defensive rebound. Joey Loizaga to brother Chito. 2-0 is the count. Great Taste off to a rousing start. Antero Terry Saldana has it against Philip Cesar. He'll challenge the veteran, and he comes to grief, but he gets it right back. He misses.
Yes, Philip Cesar playing tough defense against Saldana. Quick transition game for the Great Taste Coffee makers almost resulted in a turnover.
You know, Dr. J, this early it looks like this game is going to match that first game we saw between Magnolia and Tanduay. So hang on to your seats.
Oh, a very good play for the Great Taste Coffee makers. No switch off to help out against Michael Young. Easy 2 points for him. A 4-0 lead in favor of Great Taste.
First basket tonight scored by Arnie Twadlis. A minute and 15 gone by. Incidentally, conspicuously absent from the Great Taste bench tonight is Joey Carpio. No, he's not suffering from any injury. It's worse than that. He got married.
It's a 1 week leave to Joey Carpio. Congratulations. Got married to a girl by the name of Risa Molina.
Congratulations, Joey Carpio. I don't know if I should say congratulations to Joey Loizaga also for that valiant effort to keep the ball alive. And he managed to keep it alive.
Thus getting a foul from a Great Taste Coffee maker.
Joey Loizaga wearing number 14, the same number carried by his father through 2 decades of brilliant basketball. Here's Joey getting a pick from Michael Young. Gets the baseline. He steps on the baseline.
Yes, Ricardo Brown forcing him to the end line. He had no place to go. Continued to try to go backdoor. And he was called for the violation in that play.
Ginebra still scoreless after a minute and 45 seconds of action. Here is Alan CAIDIC, picked up by Joey Chito Loizaga. He puts it up.
Yes, sir. Good pump fake there by Alan CAIDIC, getting the defensive man up in the air. No chance for him to come back. 6-0 lead in favor of Great Taste. They're going on very strong.
Chito Loizaga will have his hands full, coping with Alan CAIDIC tonight. Here's Michael Young.
And he's going to stuff it.
He stuffed it with his patented left-hand dunk.
Michael is really going to play hard tonight. He wants to prove that he can beat Michael Hackett. Remember the series that they had last year against each other.
Oh, that's right. They have a big axe to grind. Loizaga scores the very first basket for Ginebra, and that basket came after 2 minutes and 20 seconds of hostilities. Alan CAIDIC, the left-handed shot is up. Won't go this time. Here's Antero Saldana. Terry, he's going to challenge a double team, including Michael Young.
There's going to be a foul on Harmon Cordinera in that rebound play.
First foul for Harmon Cordinera. Likewise, the first team foul for Ginebra San Miguel. Great Taste has already picked up 1 team foul of its own.
Very quick substitution for Ginebra. We see Don Ampalayo coming into the ball game for Terry Saldana after those misses by Terry.
Oh, Michael Young setting up another bone-crunching pick. Remember how he set up a pick that practically broke the face of Jindo Pumarin. Okay. Here comes Ampalayo. The Ginebrans are not getting any points out of their fast breaks, but the Great Taste Coffee makers are.
Yes, definitely at this point, since he's controlling the defensive boards, there we see Coach Baby Dalupan and team manager Ignacio Gotao looking nonchalant at this point, although they have an 8-point lead, 10-2.
Michael Young trying to force his way close to the hole and getting it.
Almost an interception there by Joey Loizaga.
10-4 is the count. 6-point lead make that an 8-point lead after another outside volley coming from Alan CAIDIC. Yes.
Assist pass coming from Ricardo Brown.
Tito Loizaga running the point right now for Ginebra San Miguel. He makes his move, barrels his way inside, and this is Michael Young, unmolested in the rebound. Another fast break in the works for great pace. Quadless anchoring it splendidly.
What's happening is both Tito Loizaga and Joey Loizaga, who are the guards for the team, are both going into the boards, and that leaves no safety man for them. That's why the fast breaks of Great Taste are working.
And that's why they're up by a double-digit advantage, 14-4. 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. Hackett trying to pirouette his way in. It's called for traveling. We've got a first time out of the ball game. With Coach Baby DeLupa, the Great Taste Coffee Makers riding high on a 10-point lead, 14-4 with 7 minutes and 58 in the balance for the first quarter. Quarterbacking as usual for the Coffee Men, Ricky Brown. Running off guard is Philip Cesar. Phillips setting up a pick. Another shot by Ricky Brown, this time off Tito Loizaga, wouldn't go. And here's Leo Isaac, counter pass break, and it works for Ginebra San Miguel. Harmon Cudinera, he cops out, goes to Don Ampalayo. Ampalayo spots an opening, dances inside. Isaac works it over to low post. Hackett goes up and misses. Michael Young had the inside track on the rebound play there with Cudinera committing a foul.
His second personal foul. Coach Sonny Jaworski called that timeout very quickly and sent in Isaac for Joey Loizaga because he was not happy with the way Great Taste got away with 2-3 quick pass breaks. There's Cordinera picking up Michael Young.
That was Arnie Quadless picking up the loose ball and getting fouled on a frontal assault to the basket. He's going to go to the line.
Hackett picking up his first personal foul of the ball game.
Incidentally, you find Ricardo Brown of the Great Taste Coffee Makers there on the floor, along with the big three of Ginebra San Miguel. All of them members of last year's PBA Grosby Mythical Selection. Grosby, the official basketball shoes of the PBA. You know, there's been a lot of scuttlebutt, Dr. J, about the possibility of having Michael Hackett replaced by Billy Ray Bates. Could it be that Michael Hackett's job is on the line tonight?
Well, it's really very hard to tell, yes. But Ginebra is a slow starting team. Partner, they have proven that in last year's conferences, wherein they have tried slowly to get into the quarterfinals and then come on very strong during that point. But, you know, it's a winning team and the tradition must be kept.
A fourth shot by Michael Hackett found its way inside the hole.
But he must pick himself up because the opponents are running very quickly. 3-point shot by Michael Young.
A tad short, loose ball, struggle for, won by Ricardo Brown. He now has to cope with a barrel-chested Tito Loizaga. Arnie Quadless, a lot of movement without the leather here by the Great Taste Coffee Makers. Michael Young powers his way through to another sizzling bucket.
Yes, a very good move on his part. He found the door shut out. There's Coach Sonny Jaworski on your screen.
The Big J looking very pensive. He's still keeping himself on hold, but you can bet he'll be coming in probably at the start of the second quarter. We've got Mr. Ledesma blowing his whistle from the baseline.
Ricardo Brown picking up his first personal foul against Michael Hackett in that play. Throw in there by Isaac. Second team foul called against Great Taste.
And we're close to the halfway point of the first quarter, to be exact, 6:36. Tito Loizaga, he goes up right down the middle. The runaway freight train didn't hit Gravy that time, but Ampalayo does.
The rookie of the year last year coming up with a very strong offensive rebound and the follow-up shot.
Ricardo Brown banging bodies with Leo Isaac, who deliberately posted himself up there and sacrificed the foul. His first personal.
You know, the intention of Great Taste is really to play a very quick game, to make use of the deep bench that it has against the Ginebra San Miguel squad, who only have about 6 or 7 very consistent players at the most, no? So they really want to tire out these key players like Michael Hackett, whom they know is not a runner, and they really want to get him up and down the court, even if they don't score.
Well, Michael Hackett looks like he can shed off about 5 or 6 more pounds. 20-8 is the count. A dozen-point lead for Great Taste. 6:21. The Coffee Makers want very badly a share of the lead. That's right. The leadership now being shared by Magnolia and Tanduay. Here's Don Palayo. Oh, miscommunication. Quick thinking on the part of Harmon Cordinera. He fails. Outlet pass. Nice catch by Alan CAIDIC.
Oh, great move there by CAIDIC.
Very unselfish.
Yes, he gets everybody up in the air, feeds off the open man. Quadless, a factor in scoring here tonight for Great Taste.
This young man, only in his freshman year in the pros, already has the aplomb of a veteran.
Well, he's played here before, partner. 1985. I'm a member of the championship team also. No?
I forgot about that. 22 waiters to count. Chito Loizaga is open, but the 20-footer wouldn't go. Philip Cesar for the rebound. Another fast break being cautioned by Great Taste. Michael Young goes up without the ball, and it looks like we've got a turnover. That was a good defensive job done by Chito Loizaga.
We have Terry Saldana coming back into the ball game for Harmon Cordinera. And another timeout, this time by Baby Dalupan. We'll be back.
5:22 remaining in the first quarter. Still a 14-point lead. A very impressive advantage here for Great Taste. Here's Chito Loizaga. It was a beautiful feed to Michael Hackett.
Cutting down the lead of Great Taste to only 12 at this point. The highest being at 14 earlier. With 5 minutes left here in the first quarter.
You know, Michael Hackett continues to play with a T-shirt underneath his jersey. Here's Michael Young. Follow up by Arnie Twadless.
Twadless already in double figures for Great Taste with 10 points right now.
The guy is sizzling hot tonight. And when he walks us out, there's virtually no stopping him. Somebody's got to put the cuffs on him. All right. Here is Terry Saldana. Another great defensive jump by Philip Cesar, negated by a great follow-up from Michael Hackett.
See, this is what Hackett should take advantage of, that Michael Young is not a great defender and will not give up that many fouls, especially when he gets inside.
12-point lead for Great Taste. Philip Cesar against Terry Saldana. It's a spread-out offense here by the Great Taste coffee makers. The drive inside by Philip Cesar proved fruitless. Leo Isaac running the ball down court, going to Chito Loizaga.
Another easy 2 points for Philip Cesar.
Philip Cesar is having a time of his life tonight with those pieces of cake he had been enjoying off great outlet passes. 26-12, back to a 14-point marker for the Great Taste coffee makers. We're under 4 minutes in the first quarter. Don Palayo, a hapless shot. Mike Hackett.
You can block Hackett's shot, but he's going to go up there, get the offensive rebound, and put it in again.
That is one of his specialities, the offensive rebound. Outside to Philip Cesar. A spread eagle, Terry Saldana, trying to harass Philip Cesar. Snap shot by Alan CAIDIC from the corner.
Yes, sir. Offense really going strong for Great Taste, like it's been going for them in the last 3 games. Now, can they hold on to it, you know?
Well, they showed the fans a thing or two in their last outing as they slaughtered the Philippine national team. 28-14 is the count. Philip Cesar just picked up his first personal as Don Palayo prepares to inbound for Ginebra San Miguel. They have a 1-1 card. They lost only recently to the Magnolia Ice Cream makers, who in turn lost tonight to the Tanduay Rum makers in the first game. 28-14. Another brilliant fast break, anchored this time by Ricky Brown.
A Great Taste playing like a well-oiled machine, as you say. And they got a lot of good dribblers. Crowd really holding. It's a 16-point lead for Great Taste.
30-14. 2:56 remaining in the first period. Terry Saldana, the jump shot of Philip Cesar. Bingo. 30-16. Well, the Ginebrans are nibbling away at that lead, but it's still a very, very imposing advantage. The Great Taste juggernaut is still very much in progress. Alan CAIDIC, he shakes off.
Oh, great move there by CAIDIC.
What a memorable moment here for the rookie.
Yes, and he's really well applauded by the crowd, who appreciates his brand of play.
Even the Ginebra fans were cheering him. 32-16 is the count. 16-point lead for Great Taste. 2:23 to go. Michael Hackett bangs it in at point-blank range again.
He needs support. He needs support.
Yes, he's got 12 points.
And only 2 other guys have scored in this ball game besides Saldana, Ampalayo, and Loizaga. 3 other guys.
Arnie Twadless in the meantime. He's got a hot hand. It suddenly ran cold. Too wide off the glass. Loose ball foul. Arnie Twadless himself picks it up. Only the second personal for Arnie Twadless. And Chito Loizaga will be checking out. The Big J showing up with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left in the first quarter. So Jaworski, as usual, will play the court general for the Ginebras.
His leadership is needed at this point, you know, and the fact that he can play safety very well to stop those fast breaks of Great Taste.
Michael Hackett. The turnaround is no good. A little too far off his range. And here's that very graceful dribble. That's Grace on the hoop. Ricky Brown, Alan CAIDIC.
Missing this time from the outside.
14-point lead for Great Taste. A minute and a half to go. Baseline drive. Don Palayo goes to Michael Hackett. Well, prudence is the better part of valor. Ampalayo knew he had no chance against that double team.
Yes, so he fed off to the open man. 32-20, 12-point lead for Great Taste.
Team foul picture shows an even slate, 4 apiece. Ricky Brown fires on a screen by CAIDIC. Bullseye. Oh, how do you cope with this team? They've got 2 riflemen working that right flank.
Yes, and then they're the ones screening for each other.
That's right. A Damon and Pythias act here by Alan CAIDIC and Ricky Brown. Here's Michael Hackett.
Hackett is down.
Nobody here to give him the count.
Young.
Michael Young really conked him out that time.
And it was Philip Cesar who helped Michael Hackett up, by giving him the hand. Hackett, ever lovable, 14 points for him. Like we say, no support from the outside for Michael Hackett. Maybe Sonny Jaworski must be willing to give up some of those outside shots. He must throw it up, and so must Leo Isaac to alleviate the situation for Hackett downstairs.
That's right. He's carrying the burden of the whole world on his shoulders. Well, make that the entire Ginebra cause.
15 points now for Michael Hackett, but they're down by 13 with 57 seconds left here in the first quarter.
34-21 is the exact tally.
Oh, what
good
a
pass
pass
inside to Arnie Tuadlas. He blew it. And here's Michael Hackett. Now he's even bringing the ball downtown.
And that's wasting strength.
Yes, sir.
But he does make the shot, and that's what counts.
Fantastic coast-to-coast performance by the big guy. But he's burning himself out this early in the ball game. 34-23. Still a double-digit advantage going for the Great Taste Coffee Makers. Looking for victory number 3 in 4 games. Ricky Brown smothered in midair by Dundon and Palayo. Counter interception by Alan CAIDIC. 3-on-2. Ricky is fouled.
Fouled there by Terry Saldana, which will send Ricardo Brown to the 15-foot line. CAIDIC making that interception, giving off the assist pass.
And while Ricky Brown is preparing for 2 charities, may we remind you that starting Tuesday, April 7th, the television coverage of the PBA games will start at 4:45 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, while the jump ball will be at 5 o'clock. And on Sundays, we will start at 4 p.m. with the jump ball scheduled at 4:15. So we're starting 15 minutes earlier than before.
36-23, a 13-point lead for Great Taste. Ginebra opting to try to go for the last shot. Another interception caused by CAIDIC. He goes up against Isaac.
That was a piece of marble cake there. 1 second left. The first quarter belongs entirely to Great Taste. We'll be right back. As the sexiest player, I didn't mean in basketball, in the fairways. He is the sexiest performer. Indeed, in his Bermuda shorts.
Thank you, partner. We see Gonzalo coming into the ball game for Isaac. Maybe this guy can give Ginebra some outside shots. There's a held ball forced on Saldana by Philip Cesar. For the Great Taste Coffee Makers, Ataiko came in for Tuadles and Aldo Perez coming into the ball game for CAIDIC.
Philip Cesar has not been as productive as he was before, but he has added a tremendous deal to his dimension of defense, especially on Terry Saldana. A beautiful getaway by Michael Hackett.
Well, with a team like this, there are 4 guys there that can shoot. Philip Cesar says, I might as well play other things like defending, rebounding, and leave the shooting to the other guys. Once in a while, I'll take my punches.
That's right. And here's Michael Young against Hackett. The fall away by Young.
And a traveling violation called against Michael. So this is an opportunity for Ginebra to regroup. Maybe Talupan has taken out guys that have been scoring for him, some cold guys off the bench. So let's see how these guys do.
Another unproductive thrust by Ginebra San Miguel. Michael Young for the defensive rebound. Here's Ricky Brown with that planted gallop down court.
And he's down on the floor.
I think Jaworski scored that knockdown. First personal for the Big J. And Ricky Brown is going to go to the line. They're still ahead by 13 points. And this second quarter is 43 seconds old. The Big J, incidentally, celebrated his 41st birthday last March 8th, making him one of the great phenomena of basketball anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world,
And Dr. Julius Irving, your namesake, Dr. J, is retiring at age 37.
That's right. It's only Jabbar, who's 39, who keeps on playing. And he'll be 40, because he was born in 1947. He'll be 40 soon.
And I highly doubt if he will reach that plateau. As a basketball player, that is. 40-25, 15-point lead for Great Taste. 11-13 remaining before the halftime break. As Saldana goes to Michael Hackett. Michael has been blowing hot, and he continues to blow hot.
19 points?
21.
21 already for Michael Hackett. Aldo Perez there getting the outlet pass.
Compadre Atoy getting that cross-court pass from Philip Cesar. Let's see him fare against Jaworski.
And he shoots up an air ball.
And here's the big guy doing everything practically for Ginebra San Miguel, bringing the ball down court too. Jaworski has it against Ricky Brown. Open perfectly is Dante Gonzalgo. He blows it.
Yes, golden opportunity from about 12 feet for Dante Gonzalgo, but he babied the shot.
Here's Ricky Brown dropping it off. Perez. And here's Cesar missing.
Percentages now going down for Great Taste. They shot 57% in the first quarter against 41 for Ginebra. Jaworski not bothering to jump. And
A
losing
great
an
block.
opportunity, yes.
That's right. A great block from behind by Philip Cesar. And this game is getting rather physical for comfort.
You expect that, partner.
Of course. 10 minutes and 14 to go in the first half. 40-27 is the count. Great Taste riding high on a 13-point lead. Snapshot by Ricky Brown makes it. Still a 13-point lead right into the hands of Dondon Palayo. Jaworski lingering the backcourt. And look at Ricky Brown applying backcourt pressure on the big J. Hackett posting himself up. He gets it. Here's the drive by Terry Saldana. Ampalayo is open. Bullseye.
Ampalayo hitting from 15 feet. That should really help the team. They've cut down the lead to 11 from a high of 17.
Terry Saldana is having difficulty finding an open door every time he makes a beeline for that paint.
Philip Cesar is there.
Yes, sir. And the ball is kicked out by Terry.
Some substitutions are in order for Great Taste. Ricardo Brown is now being replaced by Bernard Fabiosa.
Bernie Fabiosa. A Spitfire for a Spitfire. Cesar inbounding from the left sideline. Time left, 9.5. An immaculate slate for Great Taste. One team foul for Ginebra San Miguel. Philip Cesar working the right flank against Terry Saldana. The bounce pass to Atoy. The pump fake. He can't shake off Jaworski. He comes out.
And a violation is going to be called on the other end. Let's see if it's an illegal defense. Yes, it is an illegal defense called against Ginebra.
Warning of Ginebra San Miguel, Ampalayo for illegal defense.
Ampalayo was singled out as a culprit since only the first violation. It is a warning.
Michael Young finally getting the ball. 3-point shot for Michael Young. Way off the mark. Air ball, actually.
So the score is unchanged. It's still an 11-point lead for Great Taste. Well, Ginebra, to its eternal credit, is nibbling away at what once stood as a 15-point deficit.
Now down to 9. You know, the changes cost this because the pace of the game for Great Taste suddenly began to slow down, you know, with Atoyco, Perez coming in, and eventually Fabiosa now.
And Young seems to be neutralized by Michael Hackett. A very rugged defense, yes.
He's forcing up some shots, you know.
Here's Terry Saldana.
And a great comeback there by Ginebra. Down by 17, now only 7, partner.
A big grenade explosion by the Ginebras puts them right into the ball game. 40-33, just 7 points down. 8:36 remaining in the first half. Atoyco has it against Dondon Palayo. A very sticky defense by Dondon Palayo forces Atoy to go on a pick by Michael Young. He misses. Philip Cesar stretches and makes it. Nice to see Philip doing that.
Michael Young intercepts the baseball pass by Sonny Jaworski intended for Dondon Ampalayo.
It's almost always a spread out offense here for Great Taste, and Atoyco just hit on a 3-point shot.
What a big loss there for Ginebra. They had a chance for a fast break. Michael Young intercepting, eventually Atoyco hitting a 3-point shot.
You know, a lot of times Michael Hackett is running shotgun for the Big J as the Big J acts the role of point guard. Dondon Palayo. He aims. No! It was half a shot and half a pass. And that's the cost of indecision. A turnover. Still a 12-point block eye here for the Ginebras. 7:42 remaining. Dondon Palayo knocks the ball out of bounds. It stays with Great Taste. Crowd of more than 10,000 on hand to witness tonight's explosive doubleheader. First game tonight won by the Tanduay Rum Makers at the expense of Magnolia. We'll tell you more about that as we go along. Michael Young misses on a follow-up. Here's Michael Hackett, and look at the big guy dribbling that ball. He doesn't want to give it to the Big J.
Outside shot there by Michael Hackett, showing us a thing or two.
Well, he's trying to disprove the contention of a lot of people that he's out of shape.
And that he can't shoot from the outside. Remember, we also saw him throw a 3-pointer.
That's right.
A couple of games back, no?
And so the Great Taste lead has been pared down to just 10 points. That time, Michael Hackett gave Young the baseline.
Well, he closed Michael's strong side, which is his left side, and he told him to go through the right. He did, and he scored.
Michael Hackett with a pump fake, goes to Gonzalgo. Gonzalgo didn't expect that pass. He wasn't properly set up for the shot, but Michael Hackett gets the offensive rebound and is called for traveling. Score stationary at 47-35, 12-point lead for Great Taste. Here's Philip Cesar. He's going to challenge Antero Saldana and Sonny Jaworski. No, he doesn't. He goes to Brady Fabiosa with a beautiful cut.
Yes, Philip Cesar playing the role man in the team, you know. He can play forward, play guard, play center, defensive man. He can score.
Oh, he's been pulling down a lot of precious rebounds and dishing out some very nice assists.
Another traveling violation, this time against Dondon Ampalayo. Good call by referee Ting Cruz.
Very sloppy basketball on the Ginebra side of the floor. We've got a timeout. Base.
Familiar to you, partner. Fabiosa with a good move there, but missing the back shot.
Dante Gonzalgo saying this ball is mine, and Ginebra goes on the attack.
We also see Saldi Latosa in the ball game for the first time for Ginebra, replacing Dondon Ampalayo.
Saldi Latosa is the first acquisition of Ginebra San Miguel this year. Turn around by Michael Hackett. He's been going to those medium jumpers.
Well, he knows the lane is really shut out. He can go for the offensive rebounds if his teammate Michael with a good move against Michael and consummating it with a right-handed layup.
That was Michael on his motorcycle, and it's 51-35, back to an imposing 16-point advantage for the coffee makers. A shade under the 6 minutes. Hackett, 3 pump fakes, finally puts it up, gets it back, and it drops out. The save was not completed. It stays with Ginebra San Miguel. One team foul for Ginebra against a clean slate for Great Taste. They've been playing rugged basketball, but relatively clean, huh?
Yes. That's why the foul situation, nobody has really gotten into penalties so far in this ball game.
Big howl from the crowd. They thought an error was committed there by the Big J. Oh, wow. Dante Gonzalgo's arm suddenly found itself draped on the neck of Atoy Ko.
And he almost rode piggyback also on Atoy.
Team manager Ignacio Cotao and Coach Baby Dalup on a Great Taste, looking very glum as you saw in that beautiful shot just a few seconds back.
I don't know why. They're on top by 16 points. Michael Young fouled in the act of shooting.
Terry Saldana will be checking out. Chito Luisaga is right back in harness as Michael Young prepares for a couple of charities. Young
10 points.
10 points.
So in the matchup between him and Hackett, Hackett certainly has outscored him in this ball game. But Michael Young has gotten a lot of support from the locals, which Michael Hackett has yet to get from his teammates.
You know, to reinforce that point you made, Dr. J, only 3 other players have contributed to the Ginebra cause, and these are Dondon Ampalayo, Terry Saldana, and Chito Luisaga. And they were puny contributions. 4 apiece from Ampalayo and Saldana, and just a single basket from Luisaga. And they didn't take very good care of that basketball, and they're going to pay the price. Oh! Philip didn't take good care of the basketball on his end of the floor. So here comes mighty Michael.
The foul is going to be against Bernard Fabiosa. 2 free throws for Michael Hackett.
Ready Fabiosa with his first personal. Michael Hackett is playing his butt out tonight.
25 points already for Michael Hackett, and we still have 4 minutes and 50 seconds left in the second quarter.
That's in addition to 5 big rebounds.
Ordinary for Michael Hackett.
That's right.
He's been averaging over 21 points, a little over 21 rebounds per ball game, and that's expected in this team wherein he is the center. Cesar is now being given a rest by Ramos, an acquisition from the former Alaska team.
Ramos wearing number 13 on his jersey. 4:50 in the balance for the first quarter. First half, I should have said. It's 52-37, an odd 15-point lead here for Great Taste. Bernie Fabiosa now taking over the point guard chores for Great Taste. Dante Gonzalgo has been assigned to him. Traveling.
Yes. Too many steps on the part of Bernard Fabiosa, undecided on who to pass to.
That's the kind of a mistake that he seldom makes, believe me. The Big J now confronted by Bernie Fabiosa. There's a big mismatch here. Luisaga against Ramos. Snap shot by the Big J from top of the key is no good.
Pushed there by Latosa, gets the loose ball recovery, makes the shot from his favorite angle.
You know, that lean frame of his is very deceptive. He can bang it out with the big guys.
He played for the Tanduay Ram Makers before going back to the amateurs again, and then now returning to the pros by going back to Tanduay, who let him go. Michael Yang, simple dunk.
A simple dunk that brought the house down just the same. 54-39. 15-point lead again for Great Taste. Try as they might, the Ginebras just can't seem to get a rally going. Here's Zaldi.
It was clean block by Ramos, but his body did get in contact with Latosa. That was what referee Cruz was signaling. 2 free throws for Latosa, who has provided instant offense for the Ginebra San Miguel squad.
Incidentally, for comfort and durability in sportswear, go for Adidas, the official outfitter of the PBA. Timeout, we'll be back. 3 minutes and 55 remaining in the first quarter. Still a very comfortable 14-point advantage for the Great Taste Coffee Makers, who ran around during the first quarter as though there were no tomorrow, and as though that first quarter was the be-all and end-all of the basketball game.
Yes, they really came on like a house on fire in that first quarter. Really stormed to the lead immediately and went to a big 17-point lead at one point there.
Michael Young preparing to make his move against Hackett, and a foul is readily called on Michael Hackett.
That's his second personal foul. Only 3 team fouls called against Ginebra, 2 against Great Taste. Relatively clean ball game, very fast pace.
Aldo Perez inbounding for the orange shirts of Great Taste. Bernie Fabiosa confronted by the Big J. So it's that matchup on both ends of the floor as Michael Young misses on a 21-footer. Dante Gonzalgo shaking off 2 guys trying to grab the ball away from him. Saldi Latosa, a beautiful catch, not so beautiful shot.
Offensive rebounding there by Jaworski.
Dante Gonzalgo.
3-second violation is going to be called against Ginebra, as everybody expected Gonzalgo to throw up the ball, but he just couldn't find the arc, you know.
You know, everybody thinks of Great Taste as a purely offensive team, but in that particular sequence, you can see that they have added a dimension of defense.
Definitely.
Michael Young in a rather awkward situation as he threw up a hapless attempt. Chito Loizaga quickly to Hackett.
Makes the shot, gets the foul downstairs, has a chance for a 3-point play.
29 points now for Hackett in a one-man performance for Ginebra San Miguel.
We see Ricardo Brown being sent to the scorer's bench, probably for Fabiosa, yes. And maybe Tuadles coming in for Perez. Yes, also for Perez. You know, Hackett has the record here in the PBA for number of points. He did this in 1985, 103 points. It was a fight for third place between Ginebra and Great Taste when they were playing for third place. And he had 103 points in one of those games. They also picked up the third place position during that conference.
You know, the circumstances surrounding that feat of his sort of throws a cloud of doubt. I am more impressed actually by Larry McNeil's 88-point performance in a game that went into overtime.
Yes. And before that, that one of Lou Massey of 81 points, no?
Oh, yes, indeed. 2 minutes and 50 to go in the first half. 10-point lead for Great Taste. Well, one thing is certain, Ginebra San Miguel is back in the ball game after biting the dust of Great Taste to the tune of about 17 points at one juncture. Ricky Brown in the left line, works it inside heavy traffic, fielded beautifully by Michael Young, who comes through.
And he had the advantage. He was being picked up by local. Fast break play there for Michael Hackett. He catches it but steps on the end line. And he says, Michael Young, push me out of the way. Which he probably did.
Which he probably did.
During the momentum of the motion that he was trying to go for the fast break play.
Well, here's Atoiko. Very quick hands by Michael Hackett results in a beautiful steal. Dante Gonzalgo, he pulls up, goes right back to Chito Loizaga. Sharp pass inside to Michael Hackett, swatted away from behind by Ramos, but somebody committed a foul.
Young picking up his second personal foul.
Ramos doesn't feel too good about that. He was denied the credit of a great block shot.
Yes, another 2 free throws for Hackett. He's really tired. CAIDIC is being sent to the scorer's bench. Let's see who he's going to replace.
In the meantime, Hackett comes through with his first charity, and Alan checks in for Atoiko.
Ko leaves the ball game with a 3-point shot. That's his only contribution to the team at this point.
We're only 2 minutes and 21 seconds away from the halftime break, and the halftime break will be spiced by some features, most notable of which is the Marlboro Best Play. 2:17 remaining. 10-point lead for Great Taste. Donnie Gonzalgo in hot pursuit of Ricky Brown. He loves it. It was actually intended for Michael Young, but he was a mile away. Good defense by Donnie Gonzalgo. Equally good defense by Brown, and he's called for traveling.
Yes, what happened there was Michael Hackett let go of the ball, and it was an air ball. So when he went and got the ball again, the violation was called against him as he moved towards the basket.
Well, the ball has just been changed. I guess the old one was pretty slippery. Still a 10-point lead for the Great Taste Coffee Makers, looking for a share of the lead with Magnolia and Tanduay. Arnie Tuadlis challenging Chito Loizaga, goes out to Ricky Brown, the snap shot, bullseye.
Big guns of Great Taste are back in the ball game.
That's right. You can hear the roar of the cannons a mile away. Donnie Gonzalgo makes his own move, challenges Michael Young, and comes to grief as Michael Young gets himself to position for the defensive rebound. Another fast break in the works, anchored on Ramos.
Power play there by Ramos, as we see Sonny Jaworski really giving him a tough time trying to make that basket.
Here's the Big J dropping it off to Michael Hackett. The pirouette pays off. 60-48, a brisk exchange of baskets here. You know, the presence of Ramos somehow makes you feel that Jimmy Manansala is still with the Great Taste squad. He's a dead ringer for Jimmy
Although
Manansala.
he's much taller than Jimmy Manansala. He's 6'2".
That's right.
And he's playing power forward for the team right now in the absence of Abe King.
Another prayer thrown up by Ricky Brown. Alan CAIDIC comes out of nowhere. He too is smothered, rejected, and the Big J.
Oh, what an assist pass by Sonny Jaworski. And the foul is called against Ramos.
Okay, we've got a double knockdown here. Chito Loizaga and Ramos both lingering on the floor as we watch a slow-mo replay of that bristling piece of action.
There's Ramos going down. His feet gets entangled with Chito Loizaga. The foul is called against him.
Well, that was a comic relief. Comic for everybody except Ramos and Loizaga, who got burns as a result of that entanglement with the floor.
He comes out with a very loud thud, actually. Ramos really must have felt it at the back.
Yes.
His behind is hurting.
Oh, but he's a tough guy. Look at those legs. And Chito Loizaga comes through with his first charity with 45 seconds left before the halftime break. Ginebra once again threatening to break through the double-digit barrier. Ramos got the raw end of somebody's elbow.
He got Michael Hackett's elbow because he tried to box out Michael Hackett from a possible offensive rebound.
Right.
And Hackett just pushed him out of the way.
And here's Michael Young making his move. Yes. Another brilliant getaway by Young, and he's fast catching up with Michael Hackett in the scoring department. He's already got 17. Zaldi Latoza goes to Chito Loizaga. Leo Isaac against Alan CAIDIC. Beautiful cut by Chito.
Back-to-back baskets by Chito Loizaga helps the team a little. They're just down by 10. They're very much in the ball game with only 10 seconds left in the first half. Michael Young might go for the last shot.
All right, 4 seconds to go. He puts it up from the
Three-point
three-point region. A tad short. Follow up by Allen. It would have counted if it had gone, but it didn't. So it's a 10-point lead for Great Taste as everybody takes to the locker room for a breather. We too could use a breather, so we'll be back with you in just a short while.
17-point lead went down to 10. Let's see what they can do here in the third quarter if Ginebra wants to get back. They must come on strong here.
All right, we're 5 seconds into the third quarter. Chito Loizaga against Philip Cesar. We'll look at the lineups on the floor. We've got Michael Hackett there losing the ball on the top by Michael Young. Chito Loizaga keeping it alive. Jaworski from the three-point region. Oh, almost went overboard. Look at the three guys arguing possession. Michael Hackett does what he does best.
Yes. Goes for the offensive rebound. Loose ball recoveries. 36 points now for Hackett. Just an 8-point lead for Great Taste.
That's right. The Ginebra's finally breaking through the two-digit barrier, and they're back in business. 40 seconds left, or gone by in the third quarter, as Ricky Brown misses from the corner.
And
another brilliant opportunity. Yes, a boarding here for Ginebra San Miguel. A fumble by the Big J forces him into a dribbling error.
He was forced into that violation by the quick hands of Alan CAIDIC, trying to go for that steal. Sonny couldn't really find somebody to pass on, and he was forced into that violation.
You know, before tonight's game, Alan CAIDIC was known as a pure shooter, but it looks like he's got a lot more dimensions to this game than just that, huh? All right, loose ball.
But he's familiar with the pressing style that was issued by Ron Jacobs for the NCC, so that entailed a lot of quick hands. You really have to come up with a hustling defense, trying to go for the steal. So, and he's just continuing it. Oh, and Hackett there with another powerful rebound and scores again. Back-to-back baskets by Hackett, cuts down the lead to only 6.
A lot of jostling underneath that goal.
And Michael is gone. Michael is gone in that play. That was a useless foul because when he gets up in the air, there's no way you can stop him. You're just going to give him a 3-point play.
Well, that's exactly what he got, a continuation and opportunity for a triple. 64-56, 10.5 to go in the third period. Again, for the benefit of those who failed to catch the result of the first game, well, the Magnolians suffered their very first setback in this 2-week-old open tournament at the hands of the Tanduay Makers. Final score there was 115 to 111.
It was one of the closest games we've seen so far and a very exciting one.
Oh, kept us on edge for all of 48 minutes.
Oh, what a pass by Hackett. Jaworski can't score underneath, but he gets the offensive rebound, tries one more time, gets fouled. Let's see by whom.
Quite possibly Philip Cesar.
By number 11, Twadless.
Twadless, Arnie Twadless. Everybody actually ganged up on the big J there. That was only the first team foul for Great Taste in this third period. He never likewise. There's only one team foul so far. Leo Isaac, hounded now by Alan CAIDIC. Ricky Brown is on the big J. They're working the ball around the perimeter, trying to look for a breach. And it's an offensive foul.
Against Hackett, probably. Yes, third personal foul now, Michael Hackett, as he tried to give a screen for Sonny to cut onto the other side, no?
Too bad Michael Hackett nursed his fouls very well in the first half, but now they've come 2 in a row within a space of 3 minutes. Ricky Brown goes to Alan CAIDIC.
3-point shot. Yes, sir.
3-point.
Finally, scoring for the Great Taste Coffee Makers in the third quarter. Back to 11-point lead for the Great Taste Coffee Makers.
Does he still hold the record for 3 points in the amateurs?
No more, partner. I think there's a guy by the name of Edgar Macaraya who had 12 or 13, and then there was some unknown guy in the school division who came up with 13.
Well, in any case, is utilizing that rifle very well in the professional league. 67-56, back to a double-digit advantage for the Great Taste Coffee Makers. The baseline drive by Michael Young. Nobody dared stand in his way.
Well, when he got that quick move against Hackett, it was all over, but the shouting.
That's right. 69-56, 13-point lead. Bakers dozen advantage for Great Taste. Chito Loizaga missing. Another graceful gallop downtown by Ricky Brown. Another snapshot by Alan. This time it's in and out. Counter fast break, and it works by Ginebra San Miguel. Leo Isaac in open court. He jumps over Ricky Brown. Jaworski with the offensive rebound. Almost lost it.
He really got a good grip, you know, Sonny Jaworski. Oh, and a very poor shot there by Isaac. It hit the board, but nothing else.
Well, speaking of Sonny Jaworski, you said it. He's got one of the strongest grips in the entire league. His hands are big as legs of ham.
Maybe he should go over the top, huh?
Yes.
That was a great move there by Ricardo Brown. He had no way of saving the ball. Threw the ball against the foot of the opponent and was able to get the ball back for Great Taste. Huh?
69-56 is still the tally posted on the scoreboard. 8:47 in a balance for the third period is Philip Cesar. A good assist to Arnie Twadless.
12 points now for Arnie Twadless. 15-point lead for Great Taste after Ginebra threatened that when it was down to 6. No?
That's right. Another big collapse here by the Ginebras. Top of the key shot, Chito Loizaga. 71-58. Well, they'll have to put those baskets in a cluster now. And Dr. Tring Cruz blows his whistle. Very obvious foul. Zaldi Latosa with his first personal. 13 foul for Ginebra against only 1 for Great Taste. Alan CAIDIC quickly gets it over to Ricky Brown. Cross court to Michael Young. Inside to Alan.
Fails to score, gets the foul from Sonny Jaworski. Quick cut there by Alan CAIDIC, who really loves to move without the ball. And his thin frame really helps him a lot, you know, because he moves much quicker, slips through very small openings, as we say.
That's right.
Just like Ramon, no, Fernandez.
Well, they can squeeze right through the eye of the proverbial needle. All right.
14 points now for Alan CAIDIC. Saldi Latosa is being replaced by Terry Saldana.
Terry Saldana, who was effectively shackled by Philip Cesar in the first half, is hoping to improve on his game tonight. He's contributed only 4 markers to the Ginebra cause tonight. Alan CAIDIC, in the meantime, continues to burn hot. He's already got 15 markers. 73-58. Very even distribution of the score for Great Taste Coffee. Getting a lot of the burden off the shoulders of Michael Young. Michael Hackett, in the meantime, has to cope with a double team. He puts it up. That's the best way to do it.
Put the ball into the basket, as we say.
Right. 73-60, still a baker's dozen advantage for Great Taste as Leo Isaac hounds Ricky Brown in the backcourt. And always riding shotgun is the magnificent Hulk of Great Taste. That's Michael Young. Oh, I'd love to see him go up against Fran Weiss. They're almost even as far as poundage is concerned, although Weiss does have a slight advantage in muscular figure.
Weiss is about 235 pounds, you know. And Michael is down to 225 the last time that I talked to him.
That's not such a bad matchup. Left-handed shot, off balance. Won't go, but he's going to get a consolation prize. Fourth personal for Leo Isaac as he checks out for
Don Ampalayo.
last year's Rookie of the Year. Now a seasoned sophomore.
If you look at the team of Ginebra, this should be the strongest 5 for Ginebra. And with Chito Loizaga and Sonny Jaworski in the backcourt, forward line composed of Hackett, Ampalayo, and Terry Saldana. And they should really give an effort here with 7 minutes and 36 seconds to try to cut down that lead of Great Taste, because Great Taste is coasting at this point, you know. And maybe they can catch them flat-footed with a spurry of baskets.
Yeah, that's right. I think they're just loading up for another blitzkrieg later on.
Yes, it must come soon also, because if you let Great Taste just play their half-court game and their fast-breaking game, that lead might balloon to over 20, and it will be very difficult to catch up. They must really come up with that blitzkrieg right now.
Ampalayo, Terry Saldana shakes off Arnie Twadless and makes it.
Terry Saldana with his 6th point of the ball game, lead down to 13.
Well, at least it's very consistent. 2 points in each quarter. Brown. Michael Young, 3-point shot.
He's not as consistent as he was last year from that 3-point shot, you know.
No,
he's been missing a lot. Last year, you know, for our team, he really did very well.
He's been coming up with a lot of duds this year, but that's not to take anything away from his superb performance so far for Great Taste. 75-62, 13-point lead for the coffee makers. Chito Loizaga quickly to Terry Saldana.
Oh, and a bad play there by Terry Saldana. An opportunity for them to get closer now. A fast break play in the offing for the other end.
Beautifully consummated again by Arnie Twadless. 14 points now for Arnold. 77-62, back to a 15-point advantage for Great Taste. Well, if that explosion is going to come, it better come now.
Or it might not come at all anymore. You know.
Right.
Jaworski finally getting his first 2 points of the ball game on a reverse layup.
First basket, yes. Cuts down the Great Taste lead to 13 markers. That's still a manageable deficit.
Great Taste really slowing the pace of the ball game right now.
Well, there's no need to burn themselves out. What with a double-digit margin going for them, and Michael Young will probably go to the stripe again.
The foul is on Hackett. That's his 4th personal foul. And 17 fouls called against Ginebra. Only 3 for Great Taste.
Things are beginning to look very gloomy for Ginebra San Miguel. 4 personals for Michael Hackett with 6:13 remaining in the third period and all of 12 minutes in the final quarter.
Young also not doing very well from the 15-foot line. Only shooting about 60% tonight from the 15-foot line. 23 points, however, for him. And missing 2 in a row.
And the Houston Rifleman is saddled with 3 fouls himself. 77-64.
3-point shot by Sonny Jaworski.
All right. Helter Skelter is the name of this ball game. Alan CAIDIC. The ball slipped right through his hand.
That was a good pass there by Arnie Twadless. We have a timeout. We'll be back.
All right. We've just crossed the halfway point of the third period. Still a very impressive 13-point advantage for the Great Taste Coffee Makers, looking for victory in number 3 in 4 games. as Terry Saldana tried to bank it off the glass, instead drawing a foul from Arnie Twadless. Oh, Philip Cesar was the culprit. And he had that very innocent, angelic look on his face.
What did I do? So 2 free throws for Terry Saldana, who has 6 points in the ball game, making his first free throw, cutting down the lead to 12 points right now, Joe.
Well, Terry has begun to catch fire.
He's one of our premier power forwards, especially on offense. And that's the reason why he never wanted Terry Saldana to leave the club, ever since he joined them.
Well, unquestionably so. He is one of the great power forwards in the league. And that was Dondonan Palayo with a little nudge.
And they are in penalty. That's a bad nudge because that'll send Ricardo Brown to the 15-foot line.
Well, he was probably told to lean on Ricky Brown just a wee bit. 77-66.
If you're in the comeback trail, you don't want Ricardo Brown to go to the 15-foot line. He has 12 points in the ball game, making that 13.
He probably has one of the highest clips from the foul line in the entire league.
About 81%. Not bad.
No, not bad at all. I wouldn't mind having that kind of a clip, even from 5 feet. 79-66, 13-point lead for Great Pace. 5.5 to go in the third period. Alan CAIDIC making things very hot for Chito Loizaga.
Well, Loizaga stopped his dribble. That's why he really couldn't. Has to look for a pass.
And that was a bad pass, yes. Interception by Ricky Brown. And he's going to challenge the Big J. And the Big J is right there for the defensive rebound after doing such a great defensive job.
Hackett's going to take it in all the way. Misses the shot, however.
Gallant effort. Consolation prize will come in the form of 2 free throws. Michael Young also
has 3 personal fouls right now.
Oh, I think I made a mistake earlier in saying that he had already 3 personals. Actually, it was Ramos's card I was looking at.
You're clairvoyant, Joe. You just knew that Michael was going to commit his 3rd personal foul soon.
Well, I better not be too clairvoyant because they might jump on me for 41 out of the ball game.
Yes, 41 points already for Michael Hackett. If he should stay in the ball game, he might break that 57-point record of David Thurkill for this conference as far as point production is concerned. The way he's going.
If he does it, it's going to be a very short-lived record for David Thurkill. It was erected only about an hour and a half ago. Palayo.
That's a nice shot there.
Well, fortunately, there was nobody on that chair where he just made his hop, skip, and jump.
Looked like Bob Demon in that play.
Yes, sir. 68-79, still an 11-point lead for Great Taste.
3-point shot by CAIDIC. Yes, sir. His man left him.
Defensive lap by Chito Loizaga. 82-68, back to a 14-point margin for Great Taste. Here's Terry Saldana having a hard time coping with the elongated arms of Philip Cesar again. Ricky Brown joins in a double team. And the ball goes off the floor, but it stays with Ginebra.
10 seconds left on the shot clock for Ginebra. We have another timeout. We'll be back.
Terry Saldana worked it inside to Michael Hackett. The turnaround is no good. And look at Philip Cesar asserting might and main off the defensive board. In open court, we have a piece of cake for Alan CAIDIC.
It's good pass there by Michael Young. He could have easily dunked, but why do it when there's a guy who's free underneath the basket? And CAIDIC deserves recognition tonight with this ball game so far.
Alan CAIDIC already has 20 markers to his credit. 84-68, 16-point lead for Great Taste. Michael Hackett.
Positioning is the name of the game for Michael Hackett. How many points does he have?
44 markers to his credit. Arnie Twadless deep in the right flank against Terry Saldana. Philip Cesar jogging for position against Michael Hackett. Alan CAIDIC trying to set up a pick, but Jaworski is on top of Ricky Brown.
Another 3-point shot by Alan CAIDIC.
How do you cope with a team with this kind of artillery, Dr. J? They can hit from every conceivable angle. Back to a 17-point lead now for Great Taste. Michael Hackett setting up a pick for Jaworski. Did you see how Jaworski had to shove Michael Hackett because the pick was too near? It blocked his vision entirely.
Yes, and for a while he could not really see the basket as he tried for a 3-point shot. A loose ball foul by Terry Saldana. They are in penalty situation. Philip Cesar will go to the 15-foot line for 2 free throws.
And that certainly will compound Ginebra San Miguel's woes. They're being in team foul trouble with 3:22 remaining in the third period. Philip Cesar is absolutely dismayed with himself. MVP in 1981, I believe.
Philip Cesar, I think in the late 70s. If I'm not mistaken, 79.
79, okay. A split there by Philip. 88-70. 18-point lead for Great Pace. 3:19 in the balance for the third quarter. Great Pace just 2 team fouls away from the limit. Ginebra is already in penalty. Leuza gets the pass from Michael Hackett. Terry Saldana. Very tight defensive quarter direction around the lane by the orange shirts. A forced shot by Terry. He gets it right back.
And makes the shot plus a foul. The reason why the orange shirts are really collapsing defense is they know that the outside shooting of Ginebra is really very sour. They have practically not gotten mileage from their outside shooting. So it's very understandable that their forward line all play on the inside. So all the orange men have to do is just concentrate their defense against Hackett, Saldana, and Palayo who play on the inside.
Right. Very simple rationale, but it's paying off very handsomely.
They miss a guy like Bates, like I said earlier, who can shoot from the outside all night, you know. That really killed them when they lost their small forwards who can shoot from the outside.
Frontal assault to the basket by Ricky Brown. Nets Great Pace another 2 points to make it a 17-point bubble with 2 minutes and 42 remaining in this third quarter. Leuza confronted by Ricky Brown. Ginebra somehow just can't seem to get their rack going. Power drive inside by Leuzaga is a failure. And the ball is beautiful interception by Leo Izaka. Here's Terry Saldana. He's got a challenge, Young.
Doesn't score on a layup.
They keep coming to grief on those perfect opportunities.
Oh, a collision between Young and Saldana. Saldana wanting to make up, and that's a bad foul. It's actually an intentional foul called against Saldana.
I heard a loud thud of flesh against flesh in that piece of action as we watch it again in slow-mo. Look at this.
Yes. Wow. And a deliberate foul called against... Is it Ampalayo or Saldana? Ampalayo.
Ampalayo? Was that Ampalayo's arm? I thought it was Terry's. Anyway, I think Michael Young has a black eye, and let's watch that again. Okay, here's Ampalayo. Okay, both of them went up.
But Ampalayo's hand really smacked Michael in the face.
That's right.
Yes,
It was Saldana.
the correction finally made by the officials table.
It was a very dangerous foul.
That got the whole Great Taste bench off their feet, you know. This is their import, and he's been doing well for the squad. So, this is one guy they wouldn't want to lose at this point, you know.
The outraged Great Pace bench. Oh, it's bleeding. He has a right eyebrow cut.
But he doesn't want to leave the ball game. Huh?
Well, he says, an eyebrow cut is something I eat for breakfast. So what's all the hassle about? And that's Dr. Ben Salute taking a good look at it. He'll probably need a couple of stitches later on, but right now all they need is to apply some coagulant on it. Watch that again. Oh, that was a mean whack.
Wow, really? I mean, he must have really felt frustrated, Saldana, with his miss of Michael Young in the front court in his offensive end. And so he really came back and played defense. Michael was taking it hard to the hoop.
Now, I can't forget the expression on the face of Michael Young as he hit the floor. He looked
what
up
was that
at Terry
for?
Saldana. Why? I don't owe you any money. 2:14 remaining in the third period. Okay. Baby the Lupan sees the opportunity of this lull to give his boys some instructions. I hope this is not going to ignite World War III right here on the hard court.
Michael making his free throw. 24 points for him. And an 18-point lead for Great Pace.
Incidentally, the panel's choice for best player will be revealed right after this match. And our choice will be receiving a gift package courtesy of Home Pride Noodles. 92-73, Great Pace very close to the 20-point plateau. And if they hit that, it'll be very grim for Ginebra San Miguel. 2 minutes and 3 remaining in the third period. Dondon Apalayo setting up a pick for Chito Loizaga. They seem to be very tentative about their offensive thrusts.
Loizaga finally puts the issue to an end with a bank shot, cutting down the lead of Great Taste to 17.
Here's Michael Young. He's
Might
back
be
with a
mad.
vengeance.
He's mad.
He's mad. Oh, I can see the smoke coming out of his ears.
Yeah, I was just playing with you guys. We're playing tough now. Huh? Anyway, he's beginning to hit also from the outside. His percentages there in this ball game have not really been that good.
Michael Hackett, in the meantime, his guns have been silent for the last couple of minutes or so. Dondon Ampalayo trying to pick up the scoring slack. Goes right back to low post. Michael Hackett with a left hook.
Very simple shot there for Michael Hackett. Very consistent import.
94-77. Still a whopping 17-point lead for Great Taste. Long cross-court pass to Philip Cesar. CAIDIC goes behind the screen.
8 seconds left on the shot clock for Great Taste. Interception by Terry Saldana.
Haphazard pass dished out there by Ricky Brown, and Ampalayo complete the fast break.
Semblance of a rally here, down to 15 with about a minute left here in the third quarter, but Great Taste again slowly brings down the ball.
Well, if Ginebra can bring down that deficit to maybe 12 points before this third quarter is over, then they stand a pretty good chance in the final period. Ampalayo, in the meantime, just collected another personal, sending Michael Young to the stripe. Second personal for Ampalayo. And, well, Ginebra is already in team foul trouble. Berna Pebiosa cannot check in until after the first personal, after the first foul shot by Michael Young. Well, Brown has played such an outstanding game that Pabiosa saw very little playing time. Well, now it's his turn.
28 points now for Michael. Make that 29. Back to a 17-point lead with 43 seconds left in the third quarter.
96-79 is the exact tally. Here's Chito Loizaga running the point, leaving Alan CAIDIC behind, running into a phalanx of defenders, going outside to Terry Saldana. Very smart decoy move on the part of Chito.
Saldana now contributing to the squad. He's in double figures, I think.
13 points. 18 seconds left in the third period. Michael Young, look at him lingering close to the midcourt line. Parang nagduduruan sila ni Ampalayo.
He's biding his time, trying to go for the last shot.
He took it from 20 feet. 2 seconds left.
Ampalayo has enough time. No, sir, it's not going to
Robert
count.
Ahmad says it doesn't count, and we'll be right back.
That's what the fans of Ginebra have to hold on to. As you know, they're playing to try to get into the quarterfinals, and then they come on a little bit stronger after that. And it's been proven, you know, like in the last year's All Filipino, all of a sudden they were a finalist when in the elimination rounds, they were even for a while possibilities that they would be disqualified.
Well, they love to stage these uphill climbs. In the meantime, Michael Young continues to go berserk. He's now got a bandage over that injured right eyebrow of his. The result of a mean whack from the forearm of Terry Saldana about 5 minutes back.
31 points now for Michael Young, who's been averaging a little over 40, close to 42 points a ball game. Missing the free throw, and Michael Hackett controls the rebound.
Fourth quarter is only 15 seconds old. A lot of the fans here at the Ultra are already making a beeline for the exit gates. It might be premature. Saldana sinks it off a finger roll.
We still have about 6,000 people here. I think some diehard Ginebra fans are staying on. Great Taste fans certainly are enjoying the game, especially the good game of Alan CAIDIC, who's getting a lot of exposure in this ball game. There's the foul by Gonzalgo against CAIDIC.
Now, this 15-point advantage of Great Taste is allowing Baby Dalupan the luxury of testing his second stringers. Noli Banate is there, along with...
That's all.
That's all.
And Young now showing his shooting ability, his offensive game.
I forgot that Great Taste had such a powerful bench, you could hardly call anyone there a second stringer.
That's right.
All right, here's Michael Hackett. He's going to take on Young. He goes out. He succeeds. 100-85. Still a big gaping vacuum separating the two clubs. 15 points to be exact. 10:52 remaining in the game clock.
Gonzalgo is in there to really play tough defense against CAIDIC. But that's 3 team fouls now called against Ginebra and none against Great Taste. That's also what Ginebra suffered in the third quarter. They got into penalty early.
All right, here's Michael Young taking on Hackett. Good deflection by Michael Hackett. Ball falling right to the hands of Leo Isaac. Pass break in the making. Aborted by Bernie Fabiosa. Michael Young bangs bodies with Leo Isaac. He's going to go for a triple.
Well, he had the advantage there. He knew it. Had a chance for a three-point play. 5 fouls now called against Isaac. Young suddenly spurting fire in the last few minutes of play, now with 35 points.
You said it. The guy is spewing fire all over the place, especially after he was whacked on the forehead by Terry Saldana.
I remember a guy like Walt Frazier before, when during his prime he got whacked in a game by Phil Chenier of the Washington Bullets, and he showed up by shooting 7 straight baskets in a row, you know.
Sometimes it takes something like that to bring the best out of a player.
Yes.
Get him mad. Really fuming mad.
Even Bates is that kind of a player. No? Isaac is now being replaced by Joey Loizaga.
And Sonny Jaworski has used up just about every conceivable combination. And they're still down by 18 points. Here's Michael Young. He keeps going to town.
Taking charge at this point. We have the scoring by periods there. It's been great pace all the way. Taking the first quarter by 15 points, and let's keep on adding to it. They're very consistent in the 30s every quarter, huh, partner?
You bet.
Fabiosa getting his first 2 points of the ball game.
Oh, he savored every second of that.
I'm sorry,
great
partner.
piece of kick.
That was his 4th point. Let me correct myself.
All right.
22-point lead. Biggest lead in the ball game so far.
So instead of coming back in the 4th quarter, it looks like Ginebra San Miguel is simply going through the motions of finishing this ball game. Michael Hackett against Young. Michael inching his way inside. Isolated moment of beauty here for the Ginebras. Banate.
Oh, opportunity for him to score 2 points. 50 points already for Michael Hackett. 52 points.
52 points as well as 11 rebounds. 107 to 89. 5 team fouls for Ginebra. Still a clean slate for great taste.
Blocking foul by Hackett. That's going to be his 5th personal foul. And if he fouls out, he won't break that record.
Well, Michael Young deliberately fished for that foul. And that would be the 16th foul for Ginebra. So they're on the brink of team foul trouble. While great taste is very clean. It goes to show you how secure the great taste coffee makers are with this lead. They don't see any need to play rugged ball at this point.
Yes. It's all concentrated defense, you know, make it difficult for the inside man to shoot. Banate with an offensive rebound and a follow-up.
And a roar of delight from the great taste fans as they see Noli Banate finally get into the scoring act himself.
Philip Cesar committing a foul there. First team foul called against Great Taste. His 3rd personal foul. 20-point lead. Big lead.
Well, I guess a lot of fans can offer a lot of speculation about why Ginebra San Miguel is not showing the same kind of intensity it did in previous conferences, especially the last open conference. In the meantime, Terry Saldana just banged it in. 109 to 91. Here's Bernie Fabiosa. Could it be that they didn't have very much time for a pre-season practice?
I don't know. You can't tell, you know. This is a different kind of game that they're playing. And I think the other teams have really beat up, you know, with the disbandment of our team, but they were not able to pick up a single player from that, from the Manila Bear squad. No?
As a matter of fact, the Ginebra club is probably the most intact among the 7 teams
They
participating.
even lost a guy like Watson and Joey Marquez. No?
Oh, those were costly losses, actually, especially Mamaril.
Mamaril, you know, those are, instead of beefing up, they lost some players, you know, but they did get Harmon Cordinera, whom they're not using. And so far, they have not been able to get the Anthony Mendoza that they wanted.
Well, at least one consolation for the Ginebra players is the fact that win or lose, they'll have a very, very faithful flock of followers to cheer them on. Win
And
or
they
lose.
call a foul on Hackett. That's going to be it for Hackett tonight. So he leaves the ball game on 6 fouls.
You know, I have a feeling that that foul came as a result of a death wish on the part of Michael Hackett himself. He probably saw the futility of slugging it out the remainder of this ball game.
Yes, 6 fouls. 17 fouls already called against Ginebra, only 2 against Great Taste. And Great Taste on top by 28 points.
And here's the guy who has been keying this juggernaut by the Great Taste coffee makers, Michael Young.
So only 19-point lead. That
112 to 93.
Yes.
Sonny Jaworski. Dondo ng Palayo. Brings it inside, heavy traffic. Goes safety tap. Joey Loizaga. Dante Gonzalgo himself misses. Bernie Fabiosa had a dispute with Saldana for the leather there. Last touch by Terry. Bernie Fabiosa inbounding from the baseline. Backcourt pressure now by the guards of Ginebra San Miguel. Philip Cesar, let's see if he can bring the ball into the front court in time. He did. Michael Young is open. You don't give this guy the slightest shooting room. 114 to 93. It looks from here that he never has all but given up the ghost.
They're really trying at this point, and David Dalupan, as a matter of fact, is not even making a move to take Michael Young out of the ball game. So he wants to make sure the ball game's on ice before he'll even do that, you know.
That 25th point of Alan CAIDIC may have put the ball game on ice, notwithstanding the fact that there's still 6:55 remaining. But looks like I spoke too soon. The Ginebras are now coming up with a tigerish attitude.
Which is the way it should be, you know, even if you're being blown out, at least you have to show that you're really trying. They're in penalty. That's another 2 free throws for Michael Young.
And you see what he did?
He went for the continuation.
Right. Okay, we'll be back after this timeout.
Tama ng free throws.
Michael Young just pocketed a split from the stripe to make it 117 to 97. Back to a 20-point marker for the Great Taste Coffee Makers. Well on their way to a 3rd victory in 4 games. Their only defeat coming at the hands of the San Rob Makers right on opening day.
But a solitary point. So
by a solitary point at that.
We're going to have a 3-way tie for first place after this ball game tonight. Great Taste almost a sure bet to win this ball game at this point, you know, with the exit of Michael Hackett due to 6 personal fouls.
That's right. The disqualification of Michael Hackett actually cast a big pall of gloom over the prospects of a Ginebra comeback. And at this point, about 70% of their fans have practically thrown in the towel. Not the Big J though. He continues to drive inside, and he's going to be called for an offensive foul.
Offensive foul called against him in that play. No complaints.
119 to 99. Atoyko. Oh. Finds himself ganged upon by 2 big bodies there. CAIDIC left open.
Problems again whenever you leave the rifleman CAIDIC, you know, every time he knows how to move towards the guy who's been double teamed so he can get off the pass for himself.
That's right. Dante Gonzalgo. Michael Young made a very poor semblance of a defense, but he failed to knock it in anyway. Young goes back to Allen. Bernie Fabiosa. Okay, now they can afford to showboat. And Banate
scores on the miss by Atoyko. 4 points now for Banate. 25-point lead.
No, he seems to be telling his teammates, this is my show, fellas, huh? Okay, look at him on defense against Terry Saldana.
Commits the foul, however, against Terry. 2 free throws for Antero Saldana.
124 to 99. You know, this is going to be a terrific psychological knockdown for the Ginebras, because 2 consecutive routes is something you really have to ponder about.
Yes, that's very true, partner. And they have to play on Sunday against the Hill Brothers team, which is reinforced by Francois Weiss coming in.
Oh, this is a resurgent squad.
Yes, so that's going to be a big match for them, and they have to look forward to that. They have to really come back from the grave, as we say. First game will be RP team against the Shell. Helix, yes, the Shell team, Formula Spark 8ers.
Michael Young has just checked out with a tremendous ovation of the Great Taste fans.
5 minutes left in the ball game. Ricardo Brown sent back into the ball game.
Baby Dalupan wants a timeout. And things still continue to refuse to fall into place for Ginebra San Miguel. They're still down by 25 points with 4 minutes and 38 to go. Bernie Fabiosa adds insult to injury.
Ricardo Brown coming up with some great assist passes here as he becomes a quarterback more than a shooter.
Let's see what happens to Dante Gonzalgo.
He lost the ball to the end line.
They can't do anything right at this juncture.
When it rains, it pours. We need some rain also in this country at this point.
Oh yes, there's the threat of a water shortage. Dante Gonzalgo reaches for the sky to acknowledge the foul.
2 free throws for Ricardo Brown. Penalty situation enforced in both quarters against Ginebra very early in the third and the fourth quarter.
You know, Ricky Brown was sent in to give Michael Young relief. But don't forget, it was Ricky Brown largely responsible for this big bulge being enjoyed by the Great Taste Coffee makers. He was right in the thick of the fight when Great Taste staged that blitz.
Yes, I think Coach Baby Dalupan respects the ability of Ricardo Brown to quarterback. And that's why Bernard Fabiosa saw very little action during the time when it was needed, you know.
Right. Jaworski with only his 8th marker for tonight. 130 to 103. Bernie Fabiosa hits the deck. Atoyko. Okay, fast break in the works here for Ginebra San Miguel. One of the few pieces of cake they've enjoyed in this ball game.
Wide open ball game right now. 25-point lead for Great Taste. 3 minutes and 45 seconds left.
You know, the imminent triumph of Great Taste against Ginebra tonight will create a logjam for the lead among Great Taste, Tanduay, and Magnolia. And that's going to make for some very interesting basketball ahead of us.
And we still have to see Great Taste go up against Magnolia, and that's going to be on Tuesday, I think. Tuesday.
April 7th?
Yes. So that's going to be a match that is going to fill the Coliseum again.
But if you were to stock up the odds and try to figure out what would be presently the dream match, considering the present developments, I would imagine the Great Taste versus Magnolia puzzle.
That's right.
Will be a big crowd drawer.
Yes, and I think that's going to be on Tuesday.
130 to 107.
Something forward to look forward to before the Holy Week comes.
Wow, that would really be something to see. The fastest running clubs in the league are going to take on each other. 132 to 107. You know, the issue in this ball game had been decided as early as the third period, I guess.
Yes, after the 10-point lead at halftime when Great Taste stormed to a 19-point lead, it was all over.
But look, Baby Dalupan is not taking any chances. He has told his boys, okay, remember
the Alamo.
Remember the Alamo, and that was opening day.
And why, yes. It's a battle cry now for them. Yeah.
You have to keep your killer's instincts always at their peak level. That's exactly what they did to the RP squad.
That's something that you develop in time, partner, especially with a team that's sort of new. We see Aaron Torres being fielded for the first time here tonight. Probably maybe for Fabiosa or Ricardo Brown. Also Noni Robles. CAIDIC. And Fabiosa being given a rest.
Alan CAIDIC came up with one of his most splendid ball games so far in this 2-week-old tournament. He accounted for 28 points. He scored 4 triples. 132 to 109. Time down to 2 minutes and 34 seconds.
Brown really taking the challenge of Gonzalgo trying to defend against him. And really tearing him to pieces in this quarter.
You know, I wonder if the time will ever come when they will introduce the idea of a technical knockout in basketball. When, you know, it's very obvious that the losing team that has lost, then maybe they should throw in the towel. But as it is, basketball is a 48-minute game, and you have to play it right down to the last bitter second. Bitter for the losing team, that is.
Especially if it's a blown-out game. If it's a close game, then you got the whole crowd and everybody participating in it.
Exactly.
And Barry, he must be saying, why did I sit on the bench that long? Finally coming in and getting the his first 2 points.
Incidentally, Advani was Romy Guitanar's guest on his hit radio show, Man on the Ball, which comes your way every day from 12 noon up to 2 p.m. on Sports Radio, 7:38 a.m. He is a very articulate fellow.
That's true.
Last 2 minutes.
Okay. We normally refer to this as bottom line basketball, but I guess we can just call it anticlimax.
Yes, they're just going through the motions to finish the ball game for the final tally. Like you said earlier, Joe, before the game started, it's really very difficult to follow the act of that Magnolia Tanduay game. It was a slugfest, and the highest margin of lead in that ball game was a 7-point lead. So,
with 1:49 to go, Ginebra even suffers the turnover. Alan Torres is on the floor along with Noni Panate and Noni Robles. It's a very short lineup. Ato Iko and Noni Panate, they are the only 6-footers there. Here's Panate. He had the misfortune of trying to tangle in midair with Dodon Palayo. And I can see a paper airplane slowly making its way down court.
that's what my son Atom loves.
And it went the way of Dr. T. Cruz,
who picked it up. Noni Robles trying to go for his 2 points, gets it.
You know, Dr. Ting Cruz would make a great outfielder. 1:17 left in the ball game, 138 to 113. It's going to be a big heart or soul-searching session between Jaworski and his crew after this game. So with the imminent defeat of Ginebra San Miguel, their record sinks to 1-2. They thus join Hills Brothers, very close to the cellar. And Dante Gonzalgo just checked out for Leo Isaga.
And they play each other, partner, on Sunday. So the winner of that ball game will have a temporary 4th place in the elimination round. This is double elimination round.
You know, all of a sudden the Hills Brothers Coffee Kings loomed as very big threats after the sudden presence of Fran Weiss.
Yes, Weiss did have a very good opening day for himself after coming in for Tony Neal. 3-point shot by Advani. He has 5 in the ball game.
Mukesh Advani, formerly of the Sun Bitter Red Lions. 139 to 116, 50 seconds to go.
Ray shooting from the outside. He might get some playing time in future games.
Showtime for Aaron Torres, but is he red in the face?
Advani with another 3-point shot, another conversion. So, like we say, the worst team might be able to use the last few minutes of this ball game to see who are the guys he can use in the coming games.
And the story of Advani in this ball game is too late the hero.
Yes. I like that expression very much, even when I was a kid. Noni Robles also trying to pump in the points. He has 3 in the ball game. Advani with 8 points in a space of about a minute and a half inside the ball game.
Suddenly, coming up with paper airplanes became a fad here at the Ultra. Now everybody's trying to fashion an airplane out of every piece of paper they can lay their hands on. 140 to 119, 29 seconds remaining. Okay, let's see what happens to this. Advani!
Got tripped in that play by Torres. And they continue to feed Torres, but he feeds Robles for the easy 2 points. Only 15 seconds left for the agony is over.
Well, the remnants of what once was a capacity crowd here at the Ultra are enjoying the dying seconds of this rout. 10 seconds to go. Ricky Brown. Fancy dribbling by Ricky Brown.
Great pass. Exhibition time for Ricardo Brown.
Oh, he can come up with a lot of tricks too, given the opportunity. 3-point shot by London and Palayo. Well, this ball game was over as early as an hour ago, but now it's officially over, and we'll be back.
So guys, panalo po kami sa game na to. And kung mapapansin nyo, parehong imports maganda ang nilaro. Totally contrasting style sila. Si Michael Young, talagang inside and outside player. Talagang double threat siya. Mahirap ma-stop sa transition. May 3 points. Tapos, slasher din, saka may post move. Samantalang si Michael Hackett naman is purely sa inside. Pero very dominating ang, ang presence niya. talagang ang hirap din i-stop. Kailangan i-double team mo at saka napakagaling kumuha ng posisyon. Meron din siyang medium range shots pero limited lang po doon. So I guess kaya kami nanalo dito sa game na to is because yung local support mas naging consistent yung sa amin. Saka po start pa lang medyo naunahan na namin yung Ginebra kaya hindi na naka-recover at na-sustain namin yung panalo. So yun po, I hope you like this video and hope to see you sa next one.